So you can't fight progress, but I've noticed that you can unplug a good chunk of it. That's happened lately. Some days, the best things about my job is that my chair spins. I felt like that recently. My God, have we been burgled? No, the grandchildren came around. That's happened to me on multiple occasions. I bet it's happened to a few of you too. Grandma said when she was little, the only things on the web were spiders. So nothing's much changed with our COVID numbers. We're still at 99.4% of our residents are vaccinated. Almost 86%, I think we're a little higher than 86% now of our associates are vaccinated. And we haven't had any new cases, thank goodness. We are still in phase 3B for us, so we need to continue to wear masks when in healthcare or assisted living. There is no limit to visitors in your apartments. Your visitors still need to wear masks and screen in. Meetings are allowed in common areas with social distancing recommended. Service providers are no longer having to make appointments to come in, but they must screen in and wear their mask. No guests in the audience for activity programs still. You can have up to 2 guests for dining room service at breakfast and lunch till 3 p.m. every day. I was hoping to relax this restriction, but if you've been watching the news, there's a Delta variant out there, and I think it's really important that we keep our current restrictions in place until we find out what's going to happen with that. Quarantine only for those who are symptomatic, traveled on a cruise, or contact with a positive person if not vaccinated, and everybody here pretty much is vaccinated. Guest rooms are open and available, full capacity activities. Still no guests in the audience, but full capacity on resident bus trips, but you all must wear a mask, okay? And I want you to continue to do that. Visitation is open in healthcare, but it's limited to normal visiting hours and also no more than 2 visitors at a time per resident. Visitors, including independent living residents, need to wear a mask and screen in when you go in. So make sure that you're screening in through the receptionist at the Arbor Healthcare Center desk. And the reason being is that skilled nursing, so the Arbor Healthcare Center and the assisted living are different licensures, so different levels of care, and they all have different, more stringent requirements. So we're having to abide by those. And I know you all are, residents of Westminster, and we're all one big happy family, but we do have to abide by the rules. So, and you need to make sure you get your temperature checked every time you visit healthcare or assisted living. Choosing safer activities, so just recommend everybody that they get vaccinated, even with the Delta variant. It may not keep you from getting the Delta variant of COVID, but it will keep you maybe out of the hospital or from getting quite as sick as you would without the vaccine. I know that there's a lot of folks, including the governor, telling us we don't have to wear masks out in public if we're vaccinated, but if you go to a large event or gathering, I would recommend wearing a mask still, especially with the new variants out. I want to talk a little bit about the Delta variant. It's more contagious than the first strain of COVID, which is a little concerning. People have not been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 or most at risk, of course. Twice as likely to cause a hospitalization. Also uncommon cough and loss of taste or smell. More common is headache, sore throat, runny nose, and fever. A lot of people are confusing it with allergies, which has happened a little bit all along with COVID, but even more so now. So if you or a loved one is experiencing allergy symptoms, better to be safe than sorry. Better to stay home until you've confirmed that you don't have a fever, okay? And give our clinic a call, and they'll come do a test on you, make sure that you don't have COVID. We don't want to get it here if we can avoid it. I was on a call yesterday with Austin Public Health Department, and they were telling all of us that in the last 14 days, we've had 11 cases of COVID-19 amongst long-term care facilities, one facility that had a multiple outbreak, and all but one of those cases were vaccinated. people. So almost all of the folks that came down with the COVID Delta variant have been vaccinated already. Thankfully, only 2 of those people ended up in the hospital so far. But and one facility had an outbreak of an entire wing, and that was a competitor of ours, and I won't mention their name, but just do our best to keep it out of here. If you're in doubt and you think you might be sick, best to stay home. Just call us and we'll bring your meals to you. Vaccination, definitely still recommended, best practice against the Delta variant as well. We're not sure right now at this point whether or not a booster shot is going to be necessary. I think it probably will be, and Pfizer and Moderna are both talking about it, but they haven't made a definitive plan yet for it. Wear a mask. These are our recommendations, okay, when you're outside of Westminster. Wear a mask when outside. Unvaccinated required to wear a mask even at Westminster. Continue with hand hygiene, wash your hands, hand sanitizers. Every time you're in a public space, sanitize your hands. If you touch the elevator button, sanitize your hands. You've touched a doorknob, a handrail, sanitize your hands. Cover coughs and sneezes, clean and disinfect high-touch surfaces. Monitor your health daily. Again, if you're not feeling well, just call the wellness clinic for an eval and possible testing. Avoid activities and dining rooms if you're not feeling well, and wear a mask. Please wear a mask out in public. I am. If unsure of vaccination status or around unvaccinated people, wear a mask when outside of Westminster when you're visiting with your family, restaurants, large gatherings, and traveling on public transportation. And I know, the buses are full capacity for your activities, but I'm asking you still to wear your mask and wear it properly. I think about ventilation on buses. It's all of us, just like on an airplane. It's kind of all of us trapped in this, big box traveling down the road, and there's not a lot of good ventilation sometimes. So if somebody was sick, it's much more likely that you could get it than if you were in a room like this where we have, return vents and air conditioning circulating the air more. So any questions about that real quick? Okay. Question and answers for July 16th. Can you update us on the buzzing in the background of 1890? This has been addressed to my knowledge recently. Please let us know if it continues. Are you all seeing an improvement on movies? Any buzzing in the background for your movies? Buzzing like that? Hopefully not. Do we need to wear masks on the Westminster bus? I think I've answered that. Yes, the CDC recommends wearing masks on planes, buses, trains, all forms of public transportation. Even though our buses are private, I still want you to do that. When will the doors to the healthcare reopen from the COVID isolation unit shutdown? It won't reopen. I think they're talking about the fire doors going into the east side of the healthcare center. And the reason those doors are not open is because that's where we've set up our COVID isolation unit. And we're required to have that now. The Division of Health and Senior Services is requiring all facilities to have a COVID isolation unit, so if we have an outbreak, we have some place to locate people. So that unit is capable of being decreased and increased based on our need. Right now, it started out where I put 8 beds in it, and then I had the fire doors brought back, so it's only 4 beds now. But we have the capability of taking it down to 2 beds if we need to, or increasing it to a whole wing. So I just want you to know you can't walk through those doors. You need to go around to the reception desk and approach healthcare through the elevator, okay? Can we get meals delivered? Yes, you can. There's just a $2 meal charge, not much. What type of fuel is used to power the backup generator at Westminster? Currently, it's diesel fuel. We have a generator on the Preston and the Windsor. I just signed a change order for the Carlyle generator. It's going to be a dual fuel generator. It'll have both diesel and natural gas. The state of Texas requires long-term care facilities like ours to have at least 12 hours of fuel on site for each generator. So right now we have 12 hours of diesel fuel. I think it's actually 16 for both the Windsor generator and the Preston generator. The Carlyle generator is being built so that it can provide up to 6 to 7 days of electricity, and it's also being sized so that it can carry the load for the entire building. So every electrical outlet, every air conditioning unit will be able to be powered by this generator. If we were able to ever off the grid, so to speak, we'll still have service. The plan is, and the board has approved a plan to do the same thing for the Windsor and the Preston building. So over the next, we're already starting the process, but over the next few months, we'll be exploring expanding the generator service and bringing dual fuel to both the Windsor building and the Preston building. And what happens, it doesn't convert to natural gas completely, but it siphons in natural gas with the diesel, so it expands your runtime. And I remember during the last snowstorm, we weren't able to get a diesel truck here for about 6 days. So we really want to be able to provide full service, full electricity and heat to the entire campus. We are on the emergency circuit and we never lost power during the snowstorm, but if we ever do, we would have a backup. So I think that's one of the things that Boyd's mentioned that he thought was a good idea, and I think we all agree that that would be great. So we're working on that. But for right now, it's diesel fuel. Can you give us an update on the swimming pool? Yes, we actually have installed the steps. We just finished the acid wash and they recoated the pool. So now we'll be filling it up and testing the pumps and all of that. So it should meet the timeline that I described, which was the end of the month of July. So I'm happy, and I'll show you a picture. I think I have a picture. Yeah, there it is. So it has been recoated, and it comes with a warranty, and should be up and operational shortly. This is a long question, but here you go. With the Houston Methodist lawsuit being decided in favor of Houston Methodist being able to require its employees to be vaccinated, will Westminster require staff and subcontractors to be vaccinated? If not, why? And I contacted our lawyer for this one. So, thank you for your question on employee vaccinations. We are continuing to review the CDC guidelines, the rate of COVID in our local community, and all our options with respect to both voluntary efforts and the potential for future mandatory vaccinations. This continues to be an evolving situation. At the present time, we believe that our efforts to encourage voluntary vaccinations has been proven to be productive, and we are continuing those efforts. In addition, we will continue to have unvaccinated staff take appropriate precautions. As you may be aware, the City of Austin currently has a very, very low unemployment rate, and hiring is extremely difficult. In fact, more difficult than what we have encountered before. We have open positions in dietary, housekeeping, nursing, and nurse aides, among others. While we wish to move quickly to mandate vaccinations, we have to weigh that against the need to have adequate staff to provide care to all our residents on a day-to-day basis. Please understand that this is an issue we are reviewing daily, and we will continue to do our very best to the health and safety of our residents at the forefront of our efforts. And we participate, we're managed by Life Care Services, and they have a slew of lawyers too, and they're all telling us the same thing, that at this point they don't recommend that we mandate this. But we are still talking to every associate that hasn't been vaccinated, and we continue to raise our numbers. We started out a few months ago with like 64%, we're about 87% today. So we continue to work on it, and we will. Just a reminder to please lock your doors and roll up your windows when parking your car. Safest practice is always to turn your vehicle off. That's been a problem recently. Please remember to turn your vehicle off, roll up your windows, hide your valuables, lock your vehicle when you park. And this is everywhere, not just Westminster. Please remind your visitors to wear their mask when they're on our campus. I think I talked about the $500 a month allocation for dining dollars. Healthcare and assisted living residents are allowed to dine in the Laurel with a reservation for breakfast or lunch. So if you have somebody you want to eat the lunch with from the arbor, you can do that. The game room will be offline for a week, starting July the 25th through August the 1st. They have some work that's necessary as part of the expansion. Shouldn't take very long, and they may beat that timeline, but it'll be a few days. Harris Bell Hall, this room will be offline August the 1st through the 15th. You'll notice on the activity calendar that there won't be scheduled activities in here. What's going to happen is White Construction's going to build a construction wall so they can start cutting out the balcony out there, and we'll still be able to use the room. The evening activities will continue after the construction wall's built. There may be a little bit of noise in here in the morning, and probably 7 to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon occasionally. But mainly, I think most important is that we'll continue to be able to use this space after the construction wall's built. And the plan, like I said at the Residents Association meeting, is to get this room back online by the end of December totally with the addition. We're talking about, and I thought I'd ask, we have a mobile dance floor that we've been using for a few years now, and it's become a little unsafe, and we need to replace it. How do you all feel about having a permanent dance floor here in Harris Bell Hall?
Yes.
You think that's a good idea or a bad idea? I tell you what, raise your hand if you think it's a good idea. Raise your hand if you think it's a bad idea.
What would happen to that stage?
We would still have the, yeah. How many people don't care? Okay. Thank you, Boyd, appreciate that. The stage will stay. What I was thinking was the stage will move that way, right? And we would put like a luxury vinyl tile, plank like what we've been putting at the intersections in the Preston, something like that, inset into the floor so it's even, so there's no transition. And it would be maybe a 24 by 20 space, something like that would sit here. I don't know. It would help with EVS having to break down the stage all the time. The cost is probably about the same either way. So it's kind of a mixed bag, so I'll have to see I guess I'll have to make that decision on my own. Residents are able to schedule annual cleans if anybody needs those. I know that's been a question recently. Just a reminder, I know we've had some tornadoes. Well, I guess we've had some storms, not really any tornadoes for Austin, but we've had some storms recently. Just a reminder that if a tornado warning is announced for Westminster, the idea is to move away from windows. So that at that point, we'd ask you to leave your apartment, shut the door behind you, and then move to an interior corridor, okay? Construction update. So that's what the Carlyle looks like right now. And here's a time-lapse video of it being built.
That's quick.
Yeah, it's about 37 seconds.
That's pretty cool. Oh, my.
Where's the vibration?
You should have a soundtrack with that.
Didn't have time for that.
This is a little time lapse video of the construction, how it is. They showed the parking lot.
I'll send this to Ruth and she can put it on 1890
1890.
with some music, right? No. And this is the Windsor Tower expansion. And this is its video. Yeah, it's topped out, mostly dried in at this point. So I won't go over this a lot, but just as the schedule, and we'll try to send this out to you all. And actually, we'll have it available. We're not gonna print it because it's just so much paper, and I think you all are tired of paper, aren't you? Yeah. So if you want a copy, you can request one at any reception desk. But they're making a lot of progress. They're doing a really good job. Bridge 2 is complete. This is the way that you get to the pool from the Preston, and it'll be approved hopefully to be used August the 3rd. So, but if you sneak into it, and if you sneak to the pool, and I'm not even gonna tell anybody, so it's safe to use, but it'll be official August the 3rd. Windsor Courtyard is complete, as we all know. They'll start installing a pergola in front of, once they finish the facade on the restaurant, they'll start installing the pergola in front of it. It's gonna be a louvered pergola that we can open and close based on the weather. Bistro expansion is making good progress. They're rebuilding walls now. And they've built the walls for the locker rooms and things like that, so it's making good progress. The demo of Harrisville Hall addition, so the columns underneath the Harrisville Hall, this area, they completed those. That's why we had to shut down the visitor parking garage, those spots. Now we have bigger, thicker columns there, because we don't want anybody to fall through the new expansion of Harrisville Hall. That'd be bad. I don't want to end up on the news for that. So it's finished as far as those columns go. And interestingly, they'll be cutting a big hole in this concrete section out here to come back with thinner concrete that doesn't weigh quite as much, but should be able to support all of the Harrisville Hall addition. The Windsor Tower topped out. Drive between the Windsor is open, but please try to avoid it. The drive north of Windsor, it's very busy with construction traffic, so try to stay away from that area. And then August the 24th, in the Windsor Courtyard, we'll be having a kind of a topping off party for the residents, and they're gonna offer tours for all of you of the first floor of the Windsor expansion. So the bistro area, you'll be able to see some of the things that they're doing there and kind of the sizes of the spaces. The stud walls and some of the sheetrock will be up, and you'll be able to see where all the wellness areas are going to be. So that should be pretty neat. That's on the 24th, and I think it's gonna be at 11 o'clock. And we'll have some music in the Windsor Courtyard, and we'll set up some juice and stuff, and the white construction crew will be there, and they'll be doing the tours, probably small groups of 10. And I'll send out more information on that. I think Ruth's gonna have it in her calendar as well. The last concrete pour for the Carlyle, so the topping off pour is gonna be on the 26th. And then we're gonna, on the 24th, we'll also have a big party for the white construction folks and the subcontractors in the new Carlyle. The last soil, I think I put this out in the lobbies, but just to go over it, the last soil move, so the last of the dust on the Windsor Tower should be 9/3. The tower crane will be removed on the 23rd, which I'm kind of sorry to see it go. I like to watch it. The work will be complete on the Windsor Tower facing the courtyard on 10/15, so they're gonna focus on doing the facade on that Windsor Tower first on the Windsor Courtyard, so then they totally get out of our courtyard, and we should get like 100% of it back at the end of December when we get the bistro and all that. So we should be able to use all of that space, which is good news. Let's see, the Harrisville Hall addition will be completed, we believe, 12/21. They're trying to push that date forward if they can. The big thing that's holding up the project is steel fabrication, so the steel supports that are needed. If those arrive early, then we'll be able to dry in the spaces much faster, meaning putting sheetrock and all of the skin on the studs of the exterior and everything. So hopefully that happens. The bistro will be completed 12/27. They think that's a conservative estimate. They hope that they can beat that timeline. There is some concern, I don't know if you heard or not, but a lot of construction products like steel studs, sheetrock, even paint are in short supply right now. So with the Preston corridors, they actually went to San Antonio to pick up paint because they couldn't find enough around Austin. So the Carlyle will be dried in at the end of the year as well, so 12/30. The Windsor exterior work should be completed 11/30/21 this year. The Carlyle exterior work should be completed January 31st of next year. The Windsor infill tower will be complete in April, so the day after my birthday, April 5th. We'll have residents moving in April the 6th, hopefully. And then the Carlyle will be complete at the end of December in 22. I think I've talked about this. So I mentioned that 2 outside guests are allowed at breakfast and lunch till 3 p.m. every day. I know some of you are disappointed with that. I am too, but for now that's what we need to keep it at. However, residents can arrange parties of more through Ruth. So, and it's limited to our capacity and availability spaces and staff. So some people have approached me about having a dinner, a lunch party or something where they want to have 10 members of their family and themselves in, and they can reserve the private dining room through Ruth, and then food and beverage can serve them. So there is that flexibility. We just need to do it on a first come, first served basis, and as we have available spaces, as we have staff, okay? But I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that and offer that to you. So the corridor walls project in the Preston is complete, almost complete. Landscape repairs from the snowstorm are complete at this point. We have a few replacement things that we're doing ongoing. The Preston boiler project is still at permitting stage in Austin, and it's probably going to take until the end of August for the permit to be received for that job. The equipment's been ordered, and I believe part of it's arrived at the yard. Once we receive the permit, we'll start that work. Emergency planning I've talked about. We're doing this with a mechanical engineer with Pi Architects. We've had some chiller issues with the Windsor building. Hopefully you haven't felt them. The mobile chiller is still in place and will be there for a couple more months while we're waiting for parts. And then the HVAC issues for the kitchen, I just received the bid and signed it off to get that kitchen air conditioning unit replaced. And that'll be happening over the next month or two. Shouldn't affect the residents though. And we have a mobile chiller in place that's really keeping the kitchen quite cold, so that's good. Pretty good year so far. How many people here voted for us to be best of the best in Austin? Oh, thank you. And I heard it was really complicated too. For me also, it takes a while to get to the page, doesn't it? Well, thank you all very much for doing that. I appreciate it. Again, star cards are good for anybody. If you want to drop me a note and compliment an associate, please do so. I have handwritten notes all the time or emails. If you email me about somebody, I pass it on. The associates really appreciate those. Well, Ruth has a lot of upcoming trips that look fascinating, so we'll make sure that this comes out as well. I do hope that you all, I think you're honestly safer traveling with each other in the buses than you are out in the public, so this is a good opportunity to enjoy those trips while we can. I hope that the Delta variant goes away, but in the meantime, please do take advantage of these trips that are scheduled. Thursday the 22nd, the Bullock Museum or the theater, that looks pretty neat. Anybody do the lake swim and walk at the Emma Long Park? How was that? Pretty good, yeah. Civil War era in Austin, 2-hour guided tour. That sounds fascinating. I'd love to do that. Lots of fun stuff. So take advantage, enjoy it. Don't forget about the sock hop on the 22nd. Why is this echoing so bad? That ought to be fun. milkshakes and things like that. And then the Light Up for Hope event is tonight, so I hope to see all of you there. We're gonna have entertainment and some light refreshments, so it should be nice. Thank you all for your support of Alzheimer's Texas and our team and our efforts. I see some of you wearing Westminster shirts, I appreciate the support. And yes, we are having a healthy competition between Ruth and Sarah and I and the other department heads about fundraising, so appreciate you all's support. It's a good cause. And you know, Alzheimer's, I think, is a cause very near and dear to all of us, and we certainly see its effects every day. So we appreciate your support so much, and I hope to see you this evening. I think that's all I've got. Thank you very much. Any questions or anything before we close up?
I just want to compliment the landscape people, because it looked pretty bad right after the snow.
Sure did.
Everything was
I agree.
dead.
I'll pass that on. They'll be proud to hear that. Compliments to the landscape people, absolutely. And they're beautiful courtyards right now. They really look nice.
How many days, nights will the luminaries be on?
Just tonight, I think, yeah.
I have a question about the cover for the gazebo, or so to speak, gazebo in the Windsor courtyard.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, so.
Where the fireplace is.
Yes. I received the bid on that yesterday. I found a product that is clear. It has like an opaque color in it, and it's supposed to be supposed to keep 85% of the UV off of you, and so it creates shade, but it's clear. The bid on the project's $42,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, that sounded a little high to me too. So I'm exploring another option where we just put in a metal seam roof, which should be about a fourth of that. So we're looking at that. But I like the idea, but if we do that project, I think we can't do it this year. We'd have to do it next year. So.
My other question is, the new hallway or bridge to the pool, the gray carpet is in there, and then it runs into our Windsor carpet.
Yes.
What's gonna happen there?
What do you think should happen there? You think it should match?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a question that I received recently from the interior designer. And I kind of believe that it should match too. What will happen is that carpet will be replaced at the same time the first floor of all of those improvements are completed. So they'll get carpet about the same time, and we'll probably, but eventually it has to meet the Windsor carpet at some point. And so that point will probably be where that temporary construction wall is right now. It'll probably meet it there. Corridor carpet typically lasts about 10 years. And so the Windsor carpet's been there almost 10 years. So it may be time to replace the Windsor carpet. And the carpet that's in the Preston seems to be holding up pretty well. It seems to be good quality carpet. So that's an option. The problem is if you replace that carpet, then you need to do some painting, right? Yes. Yeah. So, it's not that bad a looking carpet, is it? So, I don't know, we'll work on that. It's certainly a thought. There is, we got a little discount by doing the Preston carpet that we currently have is the same carpet that's coming in the Carlyle. And so that Windsor area will be the same carpet as that's in the Preston. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll tackle that as we go along, though. Yes, ma'am.
Can you say something about the difficulty of hiring people for the food service? And I mean, you're going to have people allowed parties and things and wonderful things, but they're short of staff.
Yeah, you're right. They are. Yeah, we're short about 6 or 7 servers right now, and everybody's having the same problem. And I hate to say anything about the stimulus, but in a way, it's kind of hurting the hiring. for everyone, because it's just, I mean, you can just stay home, you don't have to work, which is not a good thing for any of us, but we certainly are challenged. I think everybody's suffering from it. The good thing, the blessing that we have is that we haven't had a lot of turnover. Those people that we've lost have been because they moved to take care of family. We haven't lost them to competitors. We're still a great place to work. We're doing some things, thinking outside the box. There is a $500 employee referral program that we offer our associates. So if they bring somebody in, we started a hiring Wednesday, where on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock, 2 to 4, the food and beverage people will meet with anybody that walks in the door that wants to apply. And we're reaching out to multiple avenues to recruit. We also, Chef Tim's going to the culinary school and recruiting from there. He's a teacher as well, or has been in the past. So we're doing a lot of different things to try and bring folks in. My son runs a Whataburger up in Georgetown, and he has 80 employees that are working for him, or the positions that he has, and he was short 28 associates.
Stimulus didn't help on that.
Nope.
Sorry?
Stimulus didn't help people.
No, absolutely right, yeah. So, yeah, it's something, I think, the good thing is we are making progress. They offered a position to a couple people recently. They hired a new cook. Some people have trouble passing the drug screen. That's unfortunate, isn't it? But we're very strict. We do criminal background checks on everybody, and we do drug tests on everybody. So even if we do get people coming in the door, they might not be the right people, and we always wait for the right person. So, but the staff's doing a fantastic job considering that, and they're working really hard, and I appreciate it all very much. And a lot of them are getting overtime, and we're trying to show them appreciation as much as we can. Yes, sir.
When will the information about reserving the facilities in the courtyard, the barbecue, the pizza ovens and that, and the chefs?
Yeah.
How much they'll cost, and
Yeah.
all those little things.
Well, it's sitting on my desk, and it's my fault for not doing anything with it. So I will work on that. Part of the struggle there is adding another amenity like that's going to take some staff, right?
Right.
And I don't want to overpromise and underachieve. So I always like to underpromise and overachieve if possible. I'll work on that. I can tell you that we were thinking that, like a chef would be rented for a couple hours. Maybe the event would cost a couple $100 plus food. So it'd be pretty reasonable. But yeah, that's definitely something we want to work on. I definitely want to use those areas. I'll try to make that a priority in the next few weeks. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want to rent it?
Too many projects. What I've got, too many projects. So. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. See you tonight.
What's it got?